Recently, I did something that I rarely ever do. I took my own advice. A couple of weeks ago, I did one of these reflections on forgiveness and how it's important for us to forgive and the benefits of forgiveness for those of us who have been wronged. So I took some time and I thought about a moment where I have been harmed, and I meditated on it, and I dug deep into it, and I twisted and turned and did all the work, and I got to this place where I, honest to God, forgave this person. And it was quite literally, I quite literally had this experience of a weight, a physical weight being lifted off my shoulders. And then something really interesting happened. My name's Ed Trevors. I'm an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. I get to serve in the beautiful town of Shelburne, Nova Scotia, in the awesome parish of Church Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And yeah, I had this really incredible moment of forgiveness. I explored this experience, this memory of mine, and I did some logosynthesis with it, and I said the words over what I could perceive to be the frozen energies, and literally, bam! It was like a snap of my fingers. It was forgiveness. It changed the feelings inside of me, the weight on top of me, the burden that it was. It all left. It was all gone. And it turns out that was actually the problem, because within a few days I noticed something really intriguing, but also really kind of horrible. I was mad at everybody and everything. Oh, you love me and you want to give me a hug? Get away from me. Oh, you cooked my favorite meal? You monster. But I was really, really angry. And after a few days of this, and quickly seeing that my family was, they didn't want to have anything to do with me, my attitude towards everybody and everything had changed. It had become almost vicious. And that's when I realized anger might be my default mode. You see, this experience had happened to me years before, and it had stayed with me, at least unconsciously, but often quite consciously. I would see a vehicle, or I would drive past a similar house with the same colors, or whatever the case might be, and all of a sudden that anger would come up inside of me. Somebody would say a word and it would trigger that anger. But I had had this anger inside of me for so long that I was beginning to get used to it being a source of energy for me. It was a source of emotional energy for me. Not a healthy source of energy, but it was a constant source of energy for me. And it had been with me prevalent for so long that I didn't even see how important the actual anger was to me in my day-to-day life. So it's not a surprise to you that we need energy. I mean, I've talked about it on this channel numerous times. We need emotional energy to survive. We need it to create. We need it to thrive. We need it to tie our shoes. We need emotional energy to do the things that allow us to live as a healthy, functioning human being in our communities. And while it's really unhealthy for us to consistently get our emotional energy from things like anger or grief or stress, it's not unheard of. It can become habitual. And when we get our energy from anger and grief and stress and from those darker feeling emotions, we can easily become addicted to them as a source, because they provide significant amounts of emotional energy with very, very, very little active work on our part. Yeah, we have to maintain it, we have to survive, we have to put our barriers up around it, but it doesn't require us to go out and do anything in order to generate or to let that energy flow through us and around us. It just is. And for me, I'd become so accustomed to that anger holding a particular place in my being that I became comfortable with how energy flowed over it, how energy flowed past it, and how it forced energy to be moved across my being. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't healthy. But it was easy. And I got used to it. And when I let that anger go, all of a sudden I had no source for energy. I had nothing that left me feeling comfortable like the anger did for all that time. Thankfully, I did recognize that this was happening before my family took me out into the woods and left me there. And thankfully, there is something we can do about these sorts of things. See, it's really important that we generate emotional health, that we have emotional health, which means it's really important for us to be able to let go of things like anger and grief and stress and allow them to dissipate out into the universe. It's important that we take our hands off of those things and let them be, let them go away. And we can do it. But when we do it, especially when they have been things that have been with us for so long, it may require us to do a little bit of work. We may feel a little bit more uncomfortable than we thought we would, and it would require us to do a little bit of work to find other sources, to find other healthy sources to generate that energy within and around us. You know, we talk about therapy isn't necessarily easy. Those changes that therapy and counseling can bring, those changes that we can experience when we let go of that frozen energy, when we let go of those memories with the intense negative emotions attached to it, they leave a void. They leave a void within us and around us. And that void causes further disruptions, not because it's harmful, but because we're not used to it. Practicing mindfulness of knowing where you are, when you are, and who's around you. Practicing a thankful heart, being thankful for all that you have and all that you are and all that will be. Practicing meditation and prayer. Finding somebody that you can talk to. Finding somebody that is trained to listen to us and move with us through these things. Getting lots of sleep, eating healthy food, getting exercise, all of these things help alleviate the discomfort of these sudden voids that can sometimes appear. Now, going forward, if you've got something going on in your life that you need to talk to somebody about, I'd be happy to listen. If there's anything that I can do to help, please let me know in the comments below or reach out to me through our church webpage, and I'd love to hear from you, and I would feel blessed to be able to be a part of your journey, even if it's a small part. The Lord bless you, the Lord keep you, the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you, and may you know the peace of being in God's presence. Pray you will know the peace of being able to let go of some of these unhealthy sources of our energy. Amen.